Hello friends and welcome back to a new tutorial. In this episode I will show you how simple and affordable it is to upgrade your Ford Sync 2 media unit. This product is compatible with the models illustrated in this image, so you can enjoy wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and screen mirroring. If you follow the exact steps in this video, the entire installation takes about 1 hour and does not require any electronics knowledge because this product was designed with beginners in mind. Enough with the introduction, let's start with a quick unboxing. As usual, for this installation I ordered a recently released product from AutoABC. Their products have never disappointed me and I have never received any complaints from the car owners whose vehicles I installed them on. To purchase this product, go to their website, search for your car model, add the product to the cart, and pay attention because you are my viewers. At checkout you can use the code DIYFD to get a fantastic 20% discount, bringing the price of the module down to only $160, probably the lowest price on the market at the moment. As you'll see next, it is worth every penny. As I mentioned, this module is dedicated to Ford Sync 2. Let's quickly see what's inside the box. I received the installation manual in digital PDF format because the product is very new, but AutoABC told me that the printed version is almost ready, so you'll most likely receive that as well. First of all, we have the aftermarket motherboard already mounted on a metal housing. Basically, this will replace half of the metal housing on the back of the original display. It is a very clever solution from AutoABC that simplifies the installation because it eliminates the need for an additional external box-type module like many other products currently on the market. As you can see, the connectors and the Wi-Fi antenna port are already fixed in place, and in the end everything will look OEM. You won't even be able to tell that the original Sync 2 unit has been modified. Next we have this wiring harness, which includes RCA ports and 12-volt power wires in case you want to install an aftermarket rear camera or even a front camera. If your car does not have a factory camera, this is the perfect moment to install one directly to the module without needing coding or additional adaptations. The reverse signal for the rear camera is taken directly from the CAN bus, so you don't even need to run a trigger wire from the reverse lights. Here's the section from the manual dedicated to installing front and rear cameras. Just connect two cables, one RCA and one power wire, and you will have a front and rear camera working. We also have a USB-A port here if you want to use wired CarPlay. I usually don't install it, but that depends on personal preference. Here we have the Wi-Fi antenna. The signal is very strong and you will not lose the connection with your phone. And here we have two ribbon cables that will connect the AutoABC motherboard to the original board inside the display. You will see in a moment how simple the process is. This is the wiring harness that connects the original display to the motherboard in order to inject the video signal. On most Ford models, you only need to connect these two large black connectors and the smaller white one. There is also a small jack port, but that is only used for cars without a factory microphone or if the existing one is not working, in which case you can install an external one. The aux port is also not required in most cases. For the rear camera, take power from here exactly as shown in the installation manual because it will receive 12 volt only when reverse gear is engaged. Keep in mind, we are talking about an aftermarket camera here. The original camera will continue to function exactly as before. In the box you will also find another half of the metal housing. This is because Sync 2 units come with two different types of housings depending on the Ford model. In this case, on the Mondeo, I had to move the motherboard to this one, but on your Ford model you might be able to use the housing where the AutoABC board is already pre-installed. If this wasn't clear enough, leave a comment and I will gladly answer. And that's everything included in the AutoABC box. Let's get to work. Depending on the Ford model, the procedure to remove the media unit is a bit different, but there are plenty of YouTube tutorials to help you with that part. On this Mondeo, we start with the side trims of the center console, beginning with the one on the right side. This is where the clips are positioned. They are very strong, so you won't break anything as long as you don't rush, unlike Volkswagen, where it is almost impossible to remove a trim piece without breaking at least a few clips. You don't even need a plastic trim removal tool here. As you can see, they come out quite easily even by hand, like the trim on the left side. We then move on to the trims around the gear shifter. Be careful here, the black trim sits slightly underneath the silver trim near the gear shifter, so push in this direction when you pry it out. Next we unclip this upper trim and then we can remove the trim around the media unit and the air vents. At the bottom, both ends of this trim release by pulling them towards the rear, not directly upwards. The climate control panel is secured by two screws at the bottom, so we will remove them using an 8mm socket. I will use a magnet here because the space is quite tight and my screwdriver socket bits are not magnetic. To unclip the climate control console, I recommend starting from the upper corners. Now we need to disconnect two connectors from the back of the console. Each has a plastic tab that must be pressed while pulling the connector out. You may need to wiggle them a bit. Here is how the metal clips are positioned on the back. Two guide pins fit here. And the two screws we removed earlier go here. The media unit itself is secured with four 8mm screws. We pull the media unit out and on the back we again have just two connectors, each with a plastic locking tab. One here and one here. For this connector you need to press the clip and pull this lever until it reaches a horizontal position. Now I'll go inside the house and film under floodlights so everything is perfectly visible. First we separate this unit from the back of the display. It is attached to the display with 4 T20 screws. We will wiggle the unit a bit to separate it because the two parts are connected through a connector in the center. They will be easy to reconnect because the screws will only line up if everything is connected properly. Next, we remove the two metal brackets from the sides of the display using a very small Torx bit. I honestly don't know the exact size, but you will definitely need a precision screwdriver for this step. We remove the second metal bracket as well. Then we remove all the small Phillips screws in order to separate the display from the housing. There are two screws on each side. 4 screws separate the metal frame of the display and 4 screws secure the display itself inside the housing. Be careful here, the 4 screws that secure the display are slightly larger, so keep them separate. These are the screws that secure the display to the housing. Now we can separate the display frame. After that we lift the display, which is connected to the motherboard with 2 ribbon cables. For the wide ribbon cable, lift the plastic latch above it. I am using a screwdriver here just so you can see better, but you can easily do it with your finger. Here you need to pull these small tabs down. Again, you can even do this with your fingernail. Then lift the rear side and pull out the ribbon cable. We are done with the display for now, so we will set it aside. Now we check if the housing where the aftermarket motherboard is pre-installed is identical to the original one or if I need to use the other housing. It is quite clear that in this case they are not identical because the aftermarket housing has 4 mounting points while the original one has 3. So I will need to move the AutoABC board to the other housing included in the box. As I mentioned earlier, depending on the Ford model, the pre-installed housing might already be the correct one. But on the Mondeo we need to move it. The other housing has a protective film so it does not scratch during transport. The Wi-Fi antenna port is also secured with a nut that needs to be unscrewed. Now we move the AutoABC board onto the other housing. We won't be needing the other half of the housing anymore, so I'll place it aside. Next, I secure the AutoABC board with the screws. Now I remove the original Sync 2 motherboard. Before securing it with screws, I will connect the ribbon cables from the box. Insert the white ribbon cable with the black side facing down and the blue ends facing up. Then close the latch. Make sure it is fully inserted so everything works correctly. Then I made a big mistake because I assumed the second ribbon cable would be inserted the same way without checking the installation manual again. In fact, this ribbon cable must be inserted with the blue ends facing down. Now I will connect the opposite ends of the ribbon cables to the AutoABC board and then secure it with screws. Of course, we also need to reconnect the display to the AutoABC motherboard. Make sure the ribbon cables are not in the way of the display or the frame that we'll reinstall afterwards. Now all that's left is to reattach the frame, reinstall the metal mounting brackets, and we will have a Sync 2 unit with all the new functions added. Here's how the metal mounting brackets should be positioned. We can already connect the wiring harness connectors. You cannot insert them incorrectly because they only fit in their matching ports. It does not matter whether you connect the connectors before or after attaching the rear unit because there is enough space for both the connectors and the Wi-Fi antenna. We can go back to the car. Regarding the USB connector, you can even skip installing it if you are not interested in wired CarPlay or adding a reverse camera. Now I will stick the Wi-Fi antenna behind the media unit on a plastic panel. The manual specifies not to stick it on metal surfaces. Here is the spot where I installed the antenna. Now insert this connector from the wiring harness into the port of the original media unit. The other end connects to the original connector. And we also reconnect the power connector of the original media unit. We tuck all the wires behind the head unit and place it in its original position. I secured the Sync 2 unit with the 4 screws. Now I will reconnect the climate control console and we can already perform a first test. Press and hold the mute button on the steering wheel, and voila! We are now in the module menu. For the original camera to work, we need to enter the menu and change one simple setting because the module comes preset for an aftermarket reverse camera. As you can see, the camera image will be displayed even over the module interface, including CarPlay. For the first pairing, enable Bluetooth on your iPhone or Android phone and connect to the module's Bluetooth. Once the two devices are paired, afterwards it is enough to turn on Bluetooth and CarPlay or Android Auto will start automatically. If Bluetooth was already active on your phone, when you enter the car, the connection will happen immediately after you turn the ignition on and the Sync 2 unit starts. I will reinstall the remaining trims and then we will move to some tests to see how everything works. All the recordings are in real time so you can draw your own conclusions.
ultra-low emission zone pe traseu.
Let's go. Make a U-turn. Then turn right on Street New Faralui.
Hey Siri, play no copyright music.
No copyright. Single by Bachi D now playing on Apple Music.
Hey Siri, play next song. Hey Siri, drive to Bucharest.
Getting driving directions to Bucharest using Waze.
Let's get started. Drive safely.
These are the steps to use mirroring from Android. Android does not have a built-in function for mirroring like AirPlay, so you need to install an app called AutoLink and from the app connect to the Wi-Fi of the module. Pretty simple. Follow the steps in the video for AirPlay. It's just like mirroring your iPhone screen on any other device. As a final conclusion, AutoABC nailed it again. In my opinion, this product is very easy to install if you follow the steps shown in this video. The operating system is fast, the connection to Carplay and Android Auto is also very quick, and the connection itself is very stable. All the original functions continue to work exactly as before, in my opinion, at a price of only $160 with the code DIYFD. It is definitely worth the money. I hope this tutorial was helpful. If it was, please leave a comment and subscribe to the channel because many more tutorials like this are coming. Good luck with your installation and let me know in the comments how you like the module after installing it. All the best!